another video. So this video, for those that haven't been following, this is a video on servicing and sharpening a 16-inch Ransomes Certes hand mower designed for fine turf, so a really nice mower. We've been through the past videos, stripped it down, cleaned it, we've been examining some of the worn parts, and I was hoping this video would be on assembling the roller, making a bit of progress with that. But sadly the ratchet sprockets on the roller are fairly worn, and the owner is quite keen to get some better ones for it, so I'm going to leave that bit up to him. And what we're going to do, we're going to just shelve the rollers for now, so we're not going to put those together today. That'll be a video for another day. But there's other work we can do, make a little progress on it. I'm going to bring you in and show you what I've done since the last video. Not a lot, but I've done a little bit, made a little bit of progress, and then what we're going to try and attempt today. Let me get my glasses and then we'll get you zoomed in. So here we have it. So all in bits as the last video. The last video, as I said, we were looking at the roller, and got them tied up here, but these ratchet freewheel sprockets, which are very, very similar to the push bike type sprockets most people will know. These are sort of let's look at the other one. It's out, it's a bit easier. It's very, very similar, apart from obviously it's got an edge and not sort of chain teeth on it, but it's very, very similar to what you see on a push bike. One of the main differences is you can see the center shaft is hexagonal, whereas a push bike it would probably have a thread on it. So they are a bit special to this machine, and I'm guessing probably made for Ransomes. Obviously Ransomes didn't make them, so I'm guessing they were sort of made for Ransomes, but I've cleaned them up a bit and they do actually work quite well. So they freewheel and they engage okay. Both of them seem to work quite nicely, but they do have a fair bit of play in them. And one of my subscribers, rightly so, said they do normally have quite a bit of play in them. And I've got a couple of new Hater Harrier sprockets, very similar to this. It's fitted to a much more modern rotary mower machine, and they're brand new, and they do have a reasonable amount of play in them themselves. So it might be that we need to, if we can't get some slightly less worn ones, we may have to put them back in, but I don't think it's a big problem at all. They work absolutely fine, so something we will do on another video. Anyway, since the last video, let's have a look. We'll get these out. I've given them a good clean because they were absolutely filthy, full of cobwebs and really just general grime. So they're looking a bit cleaner and a little nicer to work on. So those are the rollers. The roller shaft, let's get that and have a look. I've cleaned that up. It was sort of red rusty. There's obviously a little bit of wear where the sprockets sit, but nothing that's going to affect the way it works. So we'll almost certainly be reusing that roller shaft. So not much more we can do on that. The rest of the mower, I think I said, which is good in lots of ways. It's running these, what they call, they're an RL5 self-aligning bearings. I'm sure you've seen them before, most people will. They have sort of, they will rock from side to side They are a self-aligning bearing, but they've all got a little bit of movement in them, that mainly the cutter, or one of the cutter ones, and you've got obviously one in both of the roller shaft. So we've got another one. Let's have a look. Probably see it in the side frame, and tip it up the other way. Let's have a look. See it sitting in there. So I'm going to order 4 of those, and that will tighten up any movement there. The cutting cylinder is going to be as requested. It's going to be sandblasted and painted, which will make it look nice. The bottom blade, as you can see, it's seen better days by a long way. We've got a nice new bottom blade to put on. There we are. So what we're going to try and do today, we are going to try and fit this bottom blade. Now let's just have a look. You can see if we have a look, they haven't been out in a long time. I've sort of been soaking them, and I think what we're going to try, there's many ways of getting these screws out, but we want to make it the easiest way and not damaging the threads in any way. So I think what we're going to do is, I've started soaking the screws, and we're going to try and tap them out first with a couple of ways of doing it. We can use an impact driver, or we can just use a little drift. I'm going to try and undo them like that. If they don't undo easily, I don't want to hammer it too much, bearing in mind this block is cast iron. So if you start hammering it too much, you will break it. So we're going to see how seized up they are. If they're very seized up, we're going to use the little trick I was told by a friend. We're just going to build the head up with weld until we get the screw so hot that we can use something like a pair of mole grips to just get them out. But I don't know how easy they're going to come out. Sometimes they come out easier than others, you just never know. But what we will do, we'll go over to the, let's get some oil just to give them a little bit more of a soak, and then we'll see if we can set about them. So let's give that a bit of a soak. Good, right, what we'll do, we'll go over to the vise, and then we'll see if we can knock these out. Let's pop you on there. Hopefully you can see what's what. I think so. So, I'm sure many of you have an impact driver. You could use one of those to extract them. Or I think what I'm going to do is, I've just got a little drift like this, and I'm just going to see if I can just literally tap them out, get them moving as they are. If I can't, then we've got the welder to hand, and we're going to try and heat them up and see if we can get them out that way. And the only thing that's always difficult is sort of just getting hold of the blade. It's very difficult to clamp these things. They're just quite often an awkward shape, and it's just very difficult to clamp them. Knowing the best way to do it. It is such an awkward shape. Well, let's just see, let's just bring it in as close as we can, and then see if we can just try one by one, and then we'll just see if we can make any progress with a little drift like this. So let's just see what happens. think that one might just be moving, so let's just... Yes, we got this one moving. I mean, obviously, if you got really stuck, you could drill these out. Maybe use some easy outs. I never seem to have a lot of luck with them, but yeah, you could drill them out. But I always like to try and get the originals out. I always think it's better than having to start drilling and fiddling around like that. Let's try the next one. Very, very tricky to hold this. Let's just try clamping the blade itself, because we don't mind damaging that anymore. If you can see, let's just try that. Yep, another one moving. They've been in there a while. So let's see if we can. Right. So let's see if we can get the last one out. It'll be quite nice. Let's just try something. We might just be able to grab hold of the bottom blade and get it started by moving it. There we go. Right. Right, there we go. So it hasn't been off for a while. So I think what I would have done, as I said, if these look like they were putting up a real fight, it's worth trying if you've got a welder. As I say, I just use a little inverter arc welder, MIG welder, anything like that. It certainly works. Just keep building the head up with weld, and you just get it to the point that you can get a pair of mole grips on it or something, and most of the time they will come undone. That would have been my next sort of port of call. Rather than drilling it, I find that a little bit more successful. I always seem to struggle a bit with drilling, and retacking or using easy outs. So that would have been my first port of call. But we've been lucky, we got away with it. We've got all five out without breaking any, which is a bonus. So I think what we'll do next, we're just going to clean the surface up a bit. We're going to clean the threads up, and then we're going to be hopefully putting the new bottom blade. So let's clean up. Good, so that's fairly flat. I'm going to get this hedge cutter attachment out of the way because it's going to end up falling down there. Right, so I think we're just going to wire brush a little bit, clean the rest of it up, and we'll have a look at these screws. Now I'm fairly sure, we'll try it in a minute, but these are 5/16 Whitworth or UNC will do nicely. Let's get the screws, wire brush, we want a bit of copper slip, and try and find some screws. Okay, let's put that there. Good. Right, let's have a look. So in this case, I've got a 5/16 UNC, but originally it would be a Whitworth, but it's basically the same thread at that size. So let's have a look. So yeah, that's going in there nicely. We're just going to clean them up a little bit, get the rubbish out. What we will be doing is once, not today, we'll do it on another video, but the new bottom blade will get sharpened as well. We will just put that on the bottom blade grinder just to get that spot on. You wouldn't think, or you would think, should I say, being a new bottom blade, it would be spot on, but I think often they're not. You know, ideally that should be perfectly flat, but I don't think in all cases it is. And obviously depends on where the bottom blade came from, whether it was a genuine one or not. Could be the difference between it being totally flat and not. So, got that out. So we need to find some bottom blade screws. We're going to go through the selection, see if we can find some. Hopefully you can still see what we're doing. So I've got a bag here of bottom blade screws. Just put those there. Toro ones. What have we got here then? Those look like, yeah, I'm pretty sure those are 5/16. Look a little bit short, but if we have to use those, we will. See if we've got any slightly longer ones. Yeah, here we go. So I think that's what we want. Don't know whether you can see. That's 5/16. Let's just put one in, see what happens. Here again. Yeah, that's lovely. Right. That balance there. We'll have a little bit of copper slip on screws. What do we want? What did we say? It was 5. Make it a bit easier for the next person to do this. Okay, so we want our new bottom blade. So the new bottom blade that we've got here, this is a standard blade that they fit to most of the Certes, and you can see it's got a very slight lip on it, and it's very slightly thicker. So this is a standard blade. It will cut very low, but certainly if you're wanting to cut very low, when I say very low, maybe 3mm or something like that, you could get what they call a shaver blade, which was basically totally flat and much thinner. I personally prefer these standard ones because they're lipped. You've got a little bit more meat on them. Unless you're intending to cut really low, you can normally get a couple of grinds out of these. I'm not sure on this original one. No, that one's the same. We can see it's a standard blade. But normally with the shaver blades, you can normally only get one grind out of them. So they're sort of a one-time blade. Once it's worn and it wants sharpening, you have to replace it. But I rather like these standard ones. So let's see if it all lines up and we can get the screws in there. So we're just going to sort of get them started loosely. Off a little bit. So far, so good. what I'm going to use is the impact driver to tighten them up, and then hopefully we don't need to go silly with them. We need to tighten them up, we don't need to go silly. Not only that, I think with the impact driver we'll keep the head looking fairly neat rather than doing that with the punch. So let's see if we can do that. So I'll just get that on. We don't need to go silly, as I said. Next one. Right. Checking once more. I think that will do. Tight. Good. Right, let's get you zoomed in. So that's what we've got. Like I say, we don't need to do those up murder tight. They need to be tight, but not murder tight. So that's ready for a sharpen, and that will be another video. So let's pop you back up here. Good. Well, we can't do much more to this mower. I've got things I can get underway, like we said, the cylinder. That needs sandblasting, something I can't do. A friend of mine, Ben, can do that, so we'll get him on the job there. We will do a video on regrind and obviously sharpen the bottom blade, and then hopefully in the near future we'll have some better sprockets for the rollers. If not, then we'll have to reuse those. And obviously, meanwhile, I'm going to get some RL5 bearings, which are obviously Imperial. They are available, and now many companies. Simply Bearings is one that's been recommended. They're very good. If you wanted some bearings, whether it be Imperial or not, they would be able to help you as well. So there's a bit to be getting on with, and the next video may well be back on this, depending on if we've got some parts and we can make some progress. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're doing bottom blades and screws, I hope yours goes as easy as this one did. It was fairly easy, didn't cause any real problems. They can do, I've had it many a time myself before, and like I say, it can be a struggle. If you don't have any of the gear, when I say gear, welding, heating, stuff like that, just keep soaking the screws and be patient. That's all you can do. In the case of this one, it's only a fairly small block. You could almost throw it in a bucket of diesel or something and leave it in there for as long as you can, and that would certainly help. You could probably get them out. But like I say, if this one had given me any problems, we just set about it with the welder and got them out that way. But anyway, it didn't, and it went well. And the new bottom blade went on there, so it was a result on that behalf. Thank you all to my subscribers, and I will see you on the next video.